Hello, and welcome to this edition of our I've Decided podcast. I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided, and I am so excited that you are tuning in today. Maybe you're watching on social media or watching the video that we sent to our I've Decided community, or maybe you're listening on your favorite podcast. But wherever you are, we're glad you're there. I am here with these two beautiful ladies. And I'm going to introduce them to you, and you're going to find all about why we're here. Dr. Lindsay Tate is my first guest sitting here next to me. And then Jana Huston sitting right next to her, nurse practitioner. You guys are in business together, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. And as many of you know, this week our weekly winning word is repetition. And so the question is, can you repeat that? Now, we went about this when I put out the weekly winning resource to all of our members. I talked to them about repetition is the key to learning. If you do it the same way over and over, you're going to become an expert at it, right? It's just a great way to learn. Absolutely. And there were 3 rules that we wanted them to keep in mind when it came to repetition. And that was making sure you practice perfectly, you do it often, and you keep doing it until it becomes second nature. Yeah. But it went in a little bit different direction. So when I was on group call with my success coaches, one of them said, when I thought of repetition, I thought it's kind of if you do it the same way, expecting a different result, then that's what they consider insanity. And that's kind of where the rule number 1, practice perfectly. You got to do it. You got to practice the right way, right? You got to have the right record going in your mind. Absolutely. If you don't have the right record, now you're doing something over and over that might not be so beneficial. And that is why, you guys, I wanted to invite Dr. Tate and Jana here, because you are disrupting the health industry just a little bit. And by providing a new opportunity that isn't quite traditional when it comes to healthcare, like health insurance and things like that. And it's called DPC, Direct Primary Care. Yes. So you are direct primary care doctor and nurse practitioner. Yes. And, if you're watching this, most of us have been involved, have some type of health insurance. And they're, not bad, not good, not any of that. But what we know is it's getting more expensive.
That is true.
We know that we're getting a shortage of doctors. It truly is kind of on a runaway train, and we have to start taking responsibility for our health and for how we provide for the expenses of that. And doctors are starting to say there's got to be a better way. And so if you keep maybe jumping from health insurance to health insurance thinking that it's going to be different, and it's not different, you're still paying a lot of money in out of pocket, and you're not getting to see the doctors you want to see. Maybe it's time to think outside the box. Yep. And that's what we're here for. We're just here to share the information, to learn, and to think outside the box and see what we can do with it. So here we are. So let's talk.
Okay.
And why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you are with the direct primary care, and just kind of tell us the story.
Okay. We met probably about 5 or 6 years ago. We started out at Pekin Pro Health, and then in 2018, Unity Point Health took over Pekin Pro Health.
Okay.
So at that particular time, there were a lot of corporate changes. It went from a small hometown hospital to a big corporation, and there were many changes actually. And we had just decided that, I guess you could say, the focus had changed. We were all about patient care, taking care of the patients, and all of a sudden now we're in the corporate world, and things were more about health maintenance, numbers,
Typical corporate stuff.
Yeah, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. Keep it in the green
Yeah.
versus are my patients well? Those kinds of things. So it became more challenging to be a provider in that setting.
Okay.
We were being managed, by this corporate bureaucracy of, people that professionals maybe in the business world, but they weren't healthcare providers. And so we were being told how to treat our patients by people who weren't even healthcare professionals.
I see. All right. So, Dr. Tate, did you always know you wanted to be a doctor
No,
growing up?
no.
So, yeah. I mean, you seem so young, and I feel like it's like you don't, usually when you meet doctors, they're older. I don't know why. And when I met you and you walked in, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. You seem young and vibrant and excited, and so just share a little bit of your history and how you became a doctor.
Okay. Well, actually, I wanted to be a professional dancer.
Okay.
And my senior year in high school, we had to do what was called a senior project. So we had to get a mentor and spend all these hours. So it made sense that I would do dancing because that's where my life was going. And I was on the dance team. But I injured my hip. And so I had to sit out on a lot of our dance routines. And so the teacher who was in charge of our senior project said, you can't choose dance. I want you to choose something else just in case. And I was devastated. Right. I was like, well, this is all I do. What am I going to do? I came home from school crying. And one of my parents' friends happened to be over at the house, and she was a surgical tech for one of the big surgical groups here in Peoria. And she said, I'll be your mentor. Just come to work with me. Just do what you have to do. You have to graduate high school. Right. And I had a dance scholarship to a different university.
Oh, interesting.
So I said, okay, fine. And I ended up then that opened up my eyes to the medical world. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to be a doctor then.
Wow.
So I reapplied to a different university in pre-med, and that's how it all.
And that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
So and you became a general practitioner. Mm-hmm. Do you specialize in anything specific?
So I'm board certified in family medicine.
Okay.
But Jana and I have, taken more of an alternative approach as well to, doing, our traditional Western medicine that we were both trained in.
Okay.
But we have been certified in IV nutrition therapies.
Okay.
And then we also like to do, fun stuff like Botox and Juvederm fillers too. So we do offer that too.
So you do that kind of cool stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
I could use a little help with that. I love it. All right. And so, Jana, what about you? Did you always know you wanted to be a healthcare provider? And did you go straight through to become a nurse practitioner, or did you become an RN first and then wait and then go back? Or what's a little bit of your background?
I think mine maybe started out at a younger age. My mom had a friend that was ill and had cancer. So this was like when I was in 8th grade, and I started like doing little things for her to help her around the house. And when I was in high school, I always enjoyed more of like the anatomy classes and things like that. And I decided I would go into nursing school when I was in high school. So for me, it kind of happened that way. And then I went through a diploma program, and then I decided to go back and get my bachelor's, and I practiced for about 22 years as a nurse before I went back and got my master's through University of Illinois. And I was very happy with that program, and I'm also board certified in family medicine.
Awesome. So did you guys just land at the same office, or did you know each other prior?
We landed
at the same office.
And luckily you just had kind of the same work ethic and the same idea of healthcare
and how to
practice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so, all right. So you've been out on your own, you broke away, you're here in Peoria, and you started a direct primary care practice. Yes. So help us understand what that means, and what does that mean to the everyday person that might have insurance, or to the everyday person that doesn't have insurance. And we've connected through WOW, which is a healthcare option for people that provides them benefits for healthcare for companies as well as individuals. And direct primary care, I know you guys are listed on the WOW app as a direct primary care and collaborate greatly with that organization. But so help us understand, educate us a little bit about that, because I am just so intrigued. Truly. I mean, my whole life I've worked in health and wellness, and I see, the difference it makes, preventative care, taking care of ourselves. And I know that our health, our with the healthcare crisis and insurance, it's just, there has to be a better way.
Right.
So I'm so intrigued to continue to learn and hear about this. And I know people listening are too.
So basically what direct primary care type of practice does is we offer it's a monthly membership subscription.
Okay.
And for our practice personally, it's based on age.
Okay.
And so then we become your personal provider. You can get a hold of us 24/7. All of your visits, whether it be for just an annual, yearly screening visit, or if it's for a sick visit, those are all included in that monthly membership fee. Yearly basic labs are going to be included in that membership fee. If you need a small office, skin procedures, things like that, that's included as well. And because we do the IV nutritional therapy, members also get one free IV therapy a year.
And we're going to have to learn about that.
Yes.
I honest to goodness, I have no idea what that is. So let's digress for a second.
Okay.
And let's talk about that treatment and tell us about that. What is that?
Okay. So we have, we do different, we call it IV kits, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's one for, if you have chronic pain, there's one for hangovers.
Really?
And there's one for skin.
Okay.
We call it Inner Beauty. And
endurance for those that have a maybe more tough exercise regimen.
Okay.
Recovery and performance for our athletes. So we have different IV
So it's
therapies
hydrating.
Yeah.
So it's pushing
And it's all
hydration.
natural vitamins, minerals, amino acids, things like that.
Okay. And just different things depending on what you're looking.
what
So
your needs
if it's
are.
you're doing something for skincare,
Mhm.
it would have extra,
It's going to have certain
like maybe collagen or things like that in there.
Well, our Inner Beauty doesn't have collagen in it, but it has certain amino acids and also certain vitamins that will help the skin.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, and then what about pain? Like, how does it, like, give me an example, like if someone's having chronic pain or
Yes.
from certain things, or like arthritis,
Yes.
or
arthritic type, neuropathic type pain.
Okay.
And Dr. Tate has a regimen that she has started prescribing for patients that is a list of supplementation, oral supplementation, as well as the IV nutrition.
Naturopathic. They're all nutraceuticals.
Okay.
So,
And how often are, like, if someone has chronic pain and they're getting the IV, how often do they have to do that?
well, we individualize it.
Okay.
for
So
patients.
it
So
really
sometimes it's
depends.
once a week. Sometimes it's once every other week.
And if they is it kind of like when I go to the chiropractor, if I'm start off, I've got to go quite a bit, and then that maintenance is like
It's
once
usually,
a month.
yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what kind of results are you guys getting from? I mean, like,
We've
Really
obviously,
really good
great
results.
obviously you're getting some results
Yeah.
here. You're continuing. And how did you learn about it? Like, how did you get introduced to it?
Well, just our own, interest in naturopathic and alternative therapies for care. And so then we actually took a class up in Chicago, so we're certified in that.
Okay. So it's a certification
Yes.
that medical professionals can go
Mhm.
through and
Yes.
get. Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I just was curious. I'm like,
Little
when you
side.
a little digression there, but I think that it's important when you're talking about therapies that a lot of people may not know about, to share about that. Because I'm looking at your membership pricing, and honestly, it seems extremely reasonable. So you've got children, adults, certain ages, and then couples, and then family.
Mhm.
Do you take into consideration their health, like what their needs are?
Yeah.
Any like illnesses that they, like, what would you
We
call
take
it?
care of all of it.
Like
Yes.
something you
They
already
all-
have.
So many
you know.
chronic conditions, but it's
Yes.
just included, it's all just price based on age.
It's all price based on age. And then if they need a specialist, obviously you recommend to
we
whoever
refer.
you
Mhm.
think that they do. So this would be, so if a person has a traditional insurance, you do not take traditional insurance.
We do not.
Correct. We don't.
Right. Okay. So that way you can focus. You don't have to get told how to take care of your patients.
Exactly.
I got that part. See, we're learning. And I think, again, it comes back to our weekly winning word, repetition, right? And it's the same for you guys as healthcare providers. If you just kept doing it the same way over and over, expecting a different result, that's crazy.
Right.
If you're not happy and you're not being able to do what you want to do, you have to
Right.
do something different.
Right.
So you found a way through direct primary care.
Because it was so unfulfilling with being in the corporate medical world, because you only have, so many minutes with each patient, and they want you to see so many patients, per hour. And so that routine, that was just, our patients weren't having better outcomes that way. We weren't able to really sit down and delve into the patient's history and to really know what the actual diagnosis was, and then to really delve into, what their treatment plan should be, because it should all be individualized.
And we felt rushed. And that's one thing that we like about our model is we spend up to how much time, an individual would need.
Right.
I performed some diabetic teaching probably about a month ago. That visit was an hour and a half, but that was needed. And I, scheduled that time aside to meet with that patient to go over diabetic education, dietary in particular with this patient. And that's why we like this model, because we don't have the time and the patient time elements and the certain amount of patients that we have to see on a daily basis. So,
well, and then, patients, when they're established with us now, they can call and get in the same day or the next day. That would have never happened in the corporate.
Or I bet you they can, even if you know them very well, they can even, you already know what's going on with them. So you can even do some teledoc.
Exactly.
We do.
Yeah.
We do telehealth visits.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can do some telehealth or a phone call or a text,
Right,
to say, oh, your ears.
and
I mean, like, back in the day, if you had a kid that got ear infections often, you could call the doctor and say, Kim's got an ear infection again, and they could just get you some medicine and it was fine.
And that's what we're going back to.
That's what
we have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm looking at the pricing and I'm thinking, okay, I'll be 50 next month. All right. So if I'm just covering myself, the membership is really not much more than what I would pay for a health and wellness membership to exercise somewhere, or a coach, or, a nutrition plan somewhere. I mean, it's very, very affordable. So even if I have insurance, this could still be a way for me to manage my health care more reasonable.
Absolutely.
And be able to see a doctor that I really could connect with,
correct,
that I could talk to.
And that's what we're about, establishing.
And then
those
if you had
relationships.
any issues that were out of your scope of practice, you could use your insurance at other places when you needed to.
Right.
Or if you needed a test like a CAT scan or an x-ray, you're able to use that at the hospital facilities to go ahead and get that
for
paid
those studies that, that aren't covered in our monthly membership fee. The patients can use their insurance for those things that are outside of that.
Yeah. But it sounds like your monthly membership covers pretty much all the general practitioner things.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have insurance, well, then this is a no-brainer. Now, granted, you're here in Peoria. There are probably people listening to our podcast because we do have members that are not in the Peoria, Illinois region, right? So they could be in Colorado, Texas, Florida. So we could have people listening to the podcast that's not in Peoria, Illinois region, and you guys are here in Peoria, but there are other DPCs all over.
Absolutely.
So you can get the same type of care, but you'd have to come to Peoria, Illinois.
If you wanted to see us.
Yeah, if they want to see you guys, they'd have to come to Peoria, Illinois, which if you're in the region, it's not that bad if you drove over. So I love that. So direct primary care is essentially saying, instead of using insurance, you're going to join as a member of your practice.
Correct.
Yes.
That is the coolest. I mean, my life is membership, so I completely understand how memberships works, because I've owned Curves for 25 years, which is memberships.
Mhm.
And with I've Decided being a personal development membership organization.
Mhm.
So someone joins us to get mentally fit, to get coaching and development so they can achieve their goals and dreams. And someone would join your practice to take care of themselves, to have a doctor that they could reach out to, nurse practitioner that they could reach out to on a regular basis.
24/7.
24/7? What? So maybe I won't have to spend 18 hours in the ER, right? Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
And and it's true. Like do you do stitches?
We do. So
Yes.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, you wouldn't have. You could call us, and we'll meet you at our facility, and yeah, we'll
You can
stitch
just
up. Mhm.
stitch you right up.
Sew you right up.
And that would be included. In
And
your
that's
monthly-
included.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of right off the top of my head. I have a friend that I can think of several people off the top of my head that I think would love this concept and truly be able to benefit from it. I know, especially when if I get sick, I know that I may need medicine one day. I'm not anti-medicine. It
Sure.
has a place.
Right.
We need it, but it's not the first thing that I want to jump to. My mother will be, she's 78 years old and she takes no medications.
Wow.
And she has been a vitamin pusher
Yes.
my whole
Mhm.
life. To this day,
Absolutely.
we could probably check my messages and there's probably a note, baby, did you take your vitamins today? And that's the
That's
truth.
wonderful. That's
It
wonderful.
is.
That's
It's
good.
wonderful, and so I've seen with my own two eyes what happens when a person takes their health into their control and she's not highly educated. She just gets online, she reads, and she knows what she needs to take for what. And if she's having a symptom, she'll go and look and see what it is, and she'll say, I think I'm having too much sodium. She cuts back her sodium.
Oh,
Next
okay.
thing you know, her blood pressure's back in check. It was
Yeah.
a little high, and she's like, I eat too much sodium. And then she cut back her sodium, and she just had her checkup last month, and her blood pressure was like 105/59.
It's
Very
perfect.
good.
I know,
Perfect.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so and she could have just went on medicine right away.
Right.
And instead she did some research and found she does eat too much sodium. We've been telling her for a long time because she salts food without even tasting it. Do you know those
Yeah.
people?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
We
they
do.
just they put their food on their plate and they just assume it is not salty
Right.
enough. And they salt it before they
Uh-huh.
even eat it. I'm like, how do
Yeah.
you know how salty that is? It's not salty enough for me. And then once she decided she was eating too much salt, then that was a different story.
Right.
But anyway, so there are lots of things that people can do before jumping to medicine first thing.
Correct.
And that's
Yes.
what you're trying
That's
to,
That's what we try to do. Absolutely.
which I love that. Like that's the doctor I want. I don't really have a regular doctor. So I think you might have a new client.
all right. That's perfect.
And that's the health care that I want. I want someone to listen to me. I want someone to to say, if I say, I think I want to try this first, not to say, no, you need this medication, or
Right.
no, this is what we can do, or whatever.
Mhm.
That would listen to me. So that
Absolutely.
is awesome. Is it pretty easy? Like, how do you sign up? Like, do they just call the office, stop by the office?
They can do those things, or they can go to our website,
Okay.
and then there'll be new patient forms
Form
on
that
there
they can
fill
complete.
out. Mhm.
Absolutely.
And your website is Tate and Houston?
integrativewellness.com.
Mhm.
Tate and Houston.
Integrative wellness.
And it's Houston, not like Houston, I got a problem. It's Houston, Huston.
That is correct. That is correct. That is correct.
So Tate, and is it the and A-N-D?
Typed out.
Tate, yeah. Tate and Houston, Huston. Integrative Wellness Center.
Well, just integrativewellness.com.
.com. All
.com.
right. Tate and Houston. Look it up in Peoria, Illinois. I think it'll pop right up. I had no problem getting in touch with you guys to have you on this podcast. And we're connected, I think, because we have collaborated with Dr. Arshad, who is the founder of WOW, which is a healthcare option for people that provides them a more affordable way to get good health care. And that's less, I think it's better healthcare, less expensive all around.
Absolutely.
So we're going to
That's
be introducing that to people. And if you want to join us on October 6th for our community networking and learning, so that you can hear Dr. Arshad do his presentation about WOW, that will be another opportunity for you to just learn a little bit more. And he'll be talking about DPC and direct primary care, because it's a big part of how they provide their wellness through WOW. And you guys are
we're members.
you're members
Yeah.
of WOW. You're
Mhm.
on WOW. So if
Mhm.
someone has WOW and they look up healthcare, you're going to pop right up, at least in Peoria,
Yeah.
Illinois.
Mhm.
Okay. So I would be remiss if I didn't say this. If you're a member, do you get discounts on, the Botoxy stuff and the fun stuff?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do have like packages available for that, and packages available for the IV nutrition. One other thing that I would just like to mention, as far as our pricing, is we do have small business pricing. So that's available for small businesses that have 5 or more employees. We have a special price for that as well.
Really?
So
Yes.
I mean, if we had a small business, yes, we gave you that page as well.
Oh, I got that. Okay.
So just wanted to mention that.
Okay. That is awesome. So if you feel like you're on this, merry-go-round or the hamster wheel when it comes to your insurance and your health, if you're an employer, especially, and every year your pricing is going up and you're really getting to a point to where it's like, okay, if it goes up much more, don't know how we're even going to afford it. I think that's where a lot of employers are at right now. Really, don't you?
Really, yes.
Then this is definitely an option. Utilizing a shared healthcare program like Scion or Sedera, and collaborating with WOW and DPC doctors. This is a way that we can take control.
Yes,
absolutely.
Of our own health. And more doctors are doing this, right?
Not enough.
Right.
Well, don't you think they want to, but maybe they're just a little afraid? I think you girls are brave. I should say you ladies. I think you're brave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really? I mean,
this
is a very brave thing for you to do. So it tells me how passionate you are about change.
Yeah.
And about doing something different and truly providing good healthcare, because it had to be a very brave move.
Yeah, it took us a couple years before we actually
took the jump.
Yeah.
So
you were thinking about it for a couple of years.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. This won't be the first last, I should say. Might be the first you've heard of Jana and Dr. Tate, but it won't be the last, because we're going to make sure that we get the information out there and just start to try to educate the community and the world about an option, a better option.
Yes.
We're not saying one thing's good, one thing's bad. Everybody has to do what's right for them.
Sure.
But we're just saying there are options.
Yes.
You have an option to do
Mhm.
something different. You don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. You can do something better, different.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
Just choose us. We will provide you personalized care. We will be your personal providers. It's going to go back to like the old days where you have that relationship.
We even do home visits too.
We do home visits as well. Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, I know, I can tell you right now, we're going to definitely have you speaking to the ladies at Curves too, because I think they'll love that. And you'll be able to meet some people that I think would be very interested in your practice and what you're doing. And I'm interested. So, all right, you guys, if you know how to get in touch with these ladies here for good health care, hopefully you understand a little bit more about direct primary care. I mean, it's not too hard it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's a membership. You're going to pay a
absolutely.
monthly rate to get care 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. How does that sound? That sounds quite amazing, actually. And again, it's going to take time because it's change.
Right. It's different.
It's different. It's not what we're used to, and it's change. But when I was just talking to, have you guys met Meg? That's over at the medical
Yes.
society. She just changed her whole program, but now that she's used it, not using traditional health insurance anymore, but using direct primary care, using WOW and using Zion, I think is what she uses as her major expense, shared health care. It's saving her so much money, and even her medication is less. Like, she's paying less every month for her medication than she was through her traditional health insurance, which is incredible.
Absolutely.
So you save all around. So anyway, well, I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you guys a little bit. Thank you for
Thank you
the
so much for having us.
explanation.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get to know you even more and learn. So if you guys reach out to them, if you want to, you can send me an email. I'll get you connected at kim@ivedecided.org. And thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.